Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well, guys? Can you hear me? Hello? Yes, great. Okay, amazing. So, okay, glad to read that the music was the waiting music, because it's a waiting music, was good for you. So yeah, let's wait a couple of more minutes because there are people still joining. So let's wait just a couple of more minutes and then we are starting. Okay. Thank you very much and welcome everyone. Okay, I think we can start now. So first of all, welcome for those who just joined. Um, Today, let me first share my desktop. Just wait a second. There we go. Okay, so give me a second. There we go. So, okay, well, welcome again. Welcome for those who just joined. Welcome to lesson 8. Today, we're going to be checking a couple of interesting topics. First of all, we are going to be talking about testing mobile applications and some characteristics of mobile application testing. And also the second part of the class will be dedicated to create a test case. I think and I hope this helps you to have as a reference to complete your homework. Remember that we are close to review to start reviewing your own test cases. So it's important that you take this class as a reference for you to create test cases. So yeah, I think this is a very interesting class. I hope so. So, well, before starting, let me introduce myself. So as you can see, my name is Ignacio Britos. I've been working in this tech industry for more than 16 years, more or less. I started as you are going to be starting as a manual QA engineer, um, uh, working for some years there as manual QA engineer. Then I start learning programming language and some automation concepts, and I became an automation engineer. Then I became a manager. So I've been working in some Silicon Valley companies as Intel and most recently at Eventbrite. And now I'm working as an engineer manager in a company. It's a consultancy company, which is part of AWS. I don't know if you know what AWS is the Amazon Web Service. This consultancy company is a partner premier of AWS. And well, my current role is engineering manager. So yeah, just for you to let you know that the manual QA engineering could be the first step. I mean, if you decide to start working as manual QA engineer and then you decide again to continue working as manual QA engineer, you will have a lot of work for sure, a lot of work because there's a lot of work in manual QA engineering work. But if you want to, or if you decide to continue learning new things like a programming language, some automation concepts, or if you want to dig a little bit more, sorry, in some management things, so this could be your first step. Being a manual QA engineer could be your first step just to continue growing in the tech industry. But yeah, just for you to let you know that this could be your first step, and it's amazing if you continue working as a manual QA engineer for a long time, because there will be a lot of work for sure. So yeah, let's start then. Lesson 8, as I mentioned, test mobile application. Then second part of the class, we're going to be writing some test cases. I will use an emulator to show you software, a mobile application running, and then we're going to be creating some test cases from that point. Remember that we can create test cases in, let's say, two ways. First, it will be it could be from the product requirement document. You may remember the PRD, product requirement document. Just by having that document, we can create from those requirements the test cases. And if you do not have, or if it could be, I've been working in a lot of companies that, not all of companies, but a couple of companies that they do not have all the documentation available, and then QA engineer needs to explore. It could be a website, or it could be a mobile application in order to create the test cases. And this is this last one, the exploratory way of creating test cases, one of the most used approaches in interviews. So what we are going to be doing today is to explore just a little part of an application and then create some test cases from that. Okay, so that will be the second part. And we are going to be reporting an issue. We're going to be pretending that some part of the app is not working, just a specific feature of the app, of the mobile app. And then we're going to be reporting an issue just for you to let you know what are the main parts which are important and essential to use in order to create a good bug report, okay? So, okay, let's start them. Well, so why do we care? Why it's important mobile testing? Well, you may know that probably not all the, I mean, probably there are some people that you may know that do not have a computer, a PC, or a laptop, but they do have a mobile device. So almost all the people in the world have a mobile device in their hands nowadays, right? I mean, adult people mostly. And also kids. Now I have two kids, and my kids are asking me for for the mobile device every day and every day and every hour. So yes, it's important for companies, as they know that there are a lot of people in this world that they have a mobile device in their hands. It's very important for them to make sure that their applications and their websites are working in a good way in the mobile device, in different mobile devices, right? So also, besides that, you could have a laptop, and it's also my personal experience. I can tell you my personal experience. I'm working from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. in front of a computer. So to do my personal things, my personal belongs, I do not use mostly the computer, because I've been there for 9 hours or more than 9 hours in front of a computer. So probably what I use in order to, let's say, do my groceries, online groceries, or like purchase something online, or explore, or just explore some information, navigate through something that I would like to navigate. I always use a mobile device, and I guess that you also do that when we are like maybe in front of a TV, or we are sitting in our couch just relaxing, or outside in our garden, if you have garden, or a balcony, whatever, and a square or something. You are always with the mobile device, and you are exploring things, you are navigating different places. So it's essential for companies nowadays to make sure that their mobile applications are working as expected, and also to make sure that their web apps are also working as expected in a mobile web browser, right? So it's very, very important for companies to make sure that that is in that way. So there are some statistics that says there are approximately 298 million smartphone users in the United States. So 85% of the US adults have a mobile device. It's a lot of people, and that's only in the US. Just imagine that what is in the entire world. So which is actually 6.6 billion smartphone users worldwide. Like 80% of the planets, they have a mobile device in their hands nowadays, because it's not only for just for nowadays. The mobile device is not only to explore applications, or it's also for, you know, paying. Now you can have, for example, your credit card in your mobile device. I mean, I actually linked my credit cards in my iPhone, and I have my credit cards here. So I also use the mobile device to do that. And also there are some people who also have some health application related to their health, and that they also use the mobile device to control those health applications. Like that, in every industry, there are mobile applications working. So it's actually is nowadays is essential for companies to make sure that everything is working as expected. And there is also another statistics that says that people and users which are exploring an app, they tend to when they are exploring a new app, or they were recommended to use an app, if that specific application is not working the first time they try to use that application, around 80 or 85% of the people stop retrying using that app. So it's almost one shot the possibility that companies have to just impress the user and make sure that the client will continue working that app. So it's kind of the user download the app, and if the app is not working at that moment, 85% of those who downloaded the app and couldn't use the app, they won't be retrying again to use that app again. So that is, you may understand that it's very important for companies to make sure that their application are working from the very first time they have the application available for their clients. So there is another statistic that says that 72% of all internet users will solely access the web via mobile by the 2025. That's the tendency, right? We can see here the statistics saying that from the from 2019 to 225 million people like spending time with the mobile phones, like spending with non-voice activities. What is non-voice activities? Is, you know, using other using applications, navigating through the web mobile device. And, you know, some years ago, let's say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we used the mobile device just for talking or texting most of the time. Nowadays, is the tendency is that the usage of the mobile device, personal mobile device, to use different applications, not only the ones related to the chat or related to talk with other people or other person, but use the mobile device to just perform other activities. So that's the importance of mobile testing. That's why it's very important, and that's why companies do care about that. So is it clear that, guys? Any question? Understand. Okay. All good. Perfect. Amazing. So, so here are some differences between testing web clients and testing mobile clients, because there are some, well, very important differences between them. The first difference between web clients and mobile clients is that every time that you use a PC, a personal computer, or a desktop computer, and the only way of accessing to test something related to a web, you use a browser, right? You use a web browser. You or you access an internet through a browser. So you will be using it could be a Chrome, the Chrome web browser, it could be Firefox, or it could be Safari, but you will always be using a web browser, right? And it will depend on that. Despite if you are using a Mac computer, despite that you are using, a Windows computer or a tablet, everything you will be using an internet browser. And in comparison, or on the other hand, in the mobile clients, what you will be using is an app application which is loaded into a device. It will be into a specific device, right? So here you have the first difference. For web clients, you always be using a web browser to access internet and to that also will adapt to any device that you use, a personal computer, desktop computer. In a mobile environment, you will be using, or as a mobile, for mobile clients, you will need a device. And that's the first difference, because there are a lot of devices, right? A lot of devices, and that will depend the application running in different mobile devices. You need to make sure that that application is working on those devices, because it's not the same to run an application in, let's say, in a Samsung mobile device than in an iPhone, because those applications are created in different ways, using different environments and different programming languages, very different things. Well, it's not the same create a mobile application for iPhone than create a mobile application for Samsung users, for example, because it's another operative system. In an iPhone, you have iOS, and then on Samsung devices, Android operative system is the one that is running on them. So there you have the very first differentiation between web clients and mobile clients. Then the second one is typically checking the function of the client. You have different ways of, let's say, increase or perform the testing activities in a web client. One of them is using dev tools. You may know what dev tool is. It's for example, in Chrome dev tools, you can use those tools to just to simulate different things. You can work with the network tab. You can work with the throttle tools as well. So in web clients, you can use, for example, the dev tools in order to just change or inspect different things than in a mobile device. You cannot do that. In order to test different environments and different characteristics, you need to install a new build in a mobile environment. For mobile clients, the only way of changing the environment to test is by installing a new build of that specific mobile app, right? So you cannot access, for example, dev tools in a mobile device or mobile clients. You cannot do that. The only way of changing the way of testing or changing the environment that you are pointing in a mobile client is by installing a new version or a new release of a mobile device, of a mobile app, sorry. And then in web clients, you can also try, as I mentioned, for mobile clients, different environments, but just changing the URL. The only way of, or let's say the way of testing in different environments for a web client is by changing just the address, I mean the URL that you are calling. So that's the way you may know, or no, I think it's a couple of lesson 10, you will be checking the different environments. There are different environments that we have in a software development life cycle. The first one that you may know is the development environment. In order to use, for example, a development environment, you need to point, or you need to use a specific URL, which is just for development. So just by loading that specific URL, you will be accessing the development environment. Same for testing environment. There is another URL that you will need to use in the mobile and the web browsers to just to use or to access the testing environment. Same for production environment. That actually the production environment is the one that we access once we enter that we access as a client when we navigate to a specific website. For example, if I open a web browser now and I type www.amazon.com, then I will be accessing the production environment of Amazon. So production environment is the one that final clients or end users access in order to navigate on a specific website that the company is offering to their clients. Okay, so the way of accessing those environment is by changing the URL. That's the web for web clients. And for mobile clients, as I mentioned, different environments, you need to load a specific builds or different build versions. And also in mobile clients, you should consider to include some hardware test. What that means, for example, let's just go for the next thing. And here I would like you to propose you something, which is, let's imagine that you are testing the YouTube app. What would you test? So let me know through the chat if you are testing the YouTube app. What would you test? What would be the features that you would like to try and make sure that they are working? What do you think, guys? Search a video, perfect. The searching feature, amazing. What else? The search engine, yes, perfect. Search is a searching feature. Save a video, the comment section, okay. You create an account, okay. The login, okay. The sound, perfect. my account. Okay, just explore that the user just after logging that you can explore. Okay, can you stream a video? Perfect. Remember that we are testing the YouTube app in a mobile device, right? So I didn't say that, but yes, we are testing the YouTube application running in a mobile device. How to save video to a playlist? Perfect. Play the video. Okay. Rent a movie. That could be also. So it's related to subscription, right? So yeah. What else? Create a playlist. Okay. Upload a video. Perfect. That's very good. What else, guys? So all of that, it's okay. Like and dislike buttons. Perfect. Like, okay, like and like again. Perfect. What else? What do you think? How to report something? Okay. Yes, it could be also a feature. If there is a feature, I'm not sure if you can from the YouTube app you can report something, but yeah, if that's a feature, it's something that is interesting to check. Make comments, leave comments. Yes. Sharing videos. Perfect. So, and what do you think? You are, yes, notification. Okay, the bell. Okay, perfect. So everything that you're mentioning is related to functionality, things that you can do. Just try to think in something extra that you can able to follow. Okay, it's kind of a like, right? Or subscription to different content creators. So just think not only into the functionality, but yes, the volume. That's very good one. And you can control the volume for like using two things, right? Like interacting with the screen and also using the physical buttons. What else? What do you think? What else can be also tested? Not only thinking into things that you can click the front camera. Okay, just maybe it could be to share the video or to upload a video. Okay, the camera, minimize and maximize the screen. Perfect. Also, the orientation, right? The orientation just, yes, to record. Okay. Forward on reviewing. Okay, that's also functionality. But what else, right? Like by using the mobile device, it could be to have like this landscape and the other orientation, like vertical and horizontal orientation, right? That also could be a way. Also, what happen if minimize search and still able to watch? Perfect. And what happen if when we are watching a video and there is an incoming call? The ads. Okay. So that's something that you need to test, right? What happened when we are using when we are watching a video and then there is an incoming call or there is an incoming text message? Yes. So yeah, does it pause video during incoming calls? Yes, perfect. And if that's that is the feature, right? Or if it is it could be an incoming call or it could be a video call also. So there should be another another workflow that needs to be executed as well. And also what happened if you press the power off button just to sleep your phone? So what happened with that? So can you see that? There are a lot of things that you can test, not only including functionality in mobile devices or in mobile testing, not only functionality in web or using a web client. You should only be concentrated on functionality that you can be exploring or things that you can be trying. But in mobile testing, you should also include what we call the hardware controls, right? So things that we also need to validate and need to make sure that they are working. For example, the hardware controls, which are the physical things like the power button, the volume button. If there is a silence, in iPhones, you have uh, this little button in which you can silence or mute. You can mute the mobile device. What happens if you turn on or turn off, or you switch that button from one place to another? So what happened with that specific app? It could be affected or not. That should be validated. Same for volume buttons and the power on and power off. And if there are some devices which has a button, a physical button to take pictures. So what happens if you are watching a video, for example, and then you press that button? So that's something that also needs to be tested. That is a differentiation with the web clients. So those are the physical hardware controls. There are also some like hardware controls which are digital in a mobile device. What do you think are those hardware controls which are digital? So what do you think, guys? There is one comment here which says to make sure the app properly closes out and sound doesn't keep playing when done with it. Yes, perfect. The volume control in the app, yeah, that could be one. But for example, what will happen with the connectivity? Let's imagine that you're watching a video and you suddenly turn off the Wi-Fi. What will happen? So that's something that also need to be tested, right? And that's hardware control, which is digital, because you from the options in your mobile device, you need to turn off the Wi-Fi. And if you have the data available, then it should switch to the data and start consuming data. It could be 4G or 5G connectivity, and then continue reproducing without any cut, right? So that is a transition that needs to be done. And same the other way around. If you are using data and then the mobile device automatically switch to a Wi-Fi. So that transition also needs to be tested. If everything is correctly working, could be sometimes the application can break or stop working for any reason. So that could be also something that needs to be tested. Also testing the application in different under different network let's say conditions, like using on a slow Wi-Fi or a slow for example, a 3G connection. So checking how the application is working under that condition. If it is capable to reproduce a video with that slow connection, like decrease and the resolution, or automatically increase the resolution as far as your connection is improving the velocity. Would a Bluetooth connection fit this description? For instance, getting into your car while watching, listening, then activate the Bluetooth. Yes, perfect. That's a very good advice as well. So just using the Bluetooth, or maybe connecting an external speaker to the mobile device through a Bluetooth. So checking if that transition, if it stops reproducing in a mobile device and it switched to an external speakers, that could be a headphones, like the AirPods, for example, or any Bluetooth device, which is like a mobile device. So all of those things are hardware things that need to be tested as well. So in those kind of description, we have for sure the in-app controls, which are the ones that you mentioned, like stopping or pausing the reproduction, forwarding, or going back, or different kind of options that you have in the specific application. So those are the in-app controls. Then you have the phone orientation, the one that I mentioned. Also the play, the picture-in-picture thing. If you can explore other application. Actually, if you open YouTube now and then you are watching a video and you want to, let's say, read a text message, you can minimize the video and you can still watch a video when you are writing a message or reading a message, something like that. So that's the picture-in-picture or the play in background possibility, right? So using other applications and then continue like watching a video or continue reproducing a song. So that's the playing background thing which is part of most of the apps nowadays, not only for the ones which reproduce video or music, but also for maybe weather apps that nowadays are like they are checking the weather periodically in order to send notifications for sure. For example, sorry, some weather apps, they will send notifications to you if there is just a big or something very important to notify if there an important change in the weather, the hurricane or whatever is happening with the weather. So they need to run, or they need to continue running and checking things in the background in order to show you periodically notifications for you to know. And what will happen if you sleep your phone? That, like, by using that's part of the physical control, hardware control, the physical one, like using the power button to see what happened there, like VRs and speakers, etc. Yes, for sure, that's something also to test using those different devices, like yes, virtual reality and speakers and different other devices that can be connected to a mobile device. So all of those devices needs to be tested. All of those things, not only the function. That's why mobile testing is very, very attractive for QA engineers, because we need to cover a lot of things, not only functionality, not only things that we can touch, I mean, that we can try with the specific app, but things which are around that app. That is also something that we need to test and make sure that are working according to their requirements. Remember that we should not invent things that the app needs to cover or needs to do. We should always base on the requirements that are written for that specific application. So if those are not defined, you should ask for them, because most of the app will need to try not only the functionality of the app, but also things related to the device. What will happen under like the orientation, or if that application needs to be running in background or not, if that application needs to be or should not be running in the background, because that could be a possibility. And also other scenarios which are interesting to try or to test in mobile environment is the one related to installation and uninstallation. So that's something also interesting to check how, or what are the things, or what are the files, and how the app needs to be installed, where are the folders that will be written or created, where the data will be stored, the data that is created once you are using the app, because all the apps have information that you are adding or information that you are checking, or if almost all the apps, when you install the app, let's say the size of the app is, I don't know, maybe 10 megabytes. After some time, the app will start increasing their size, maybe from 10 to 20 to 30 or 100 megabytes. And that information need to be stored in one place inside the mobile device. So checking that the information is safe in the right place is also something that needs to be tested. And also, what happened with all of that information after you uninstall the app? What will happen with that information? Should that information be erased or deleted from the mobile device? The whole information needs to be deleted. There should be some information that needs to be kept there for some time, let's say for some days or month, or I don't know what the requirement says. What happened after installing an update? Because you may know that almost let's say all the apps nowadays available in your mobile device, they receive updates in in 1 week or 2 weeks. Absolutely all the apps are like improving their features or adding new features or fixing bugs and a lot of things. So what or how the application needs to be how the application needs to react to those updates. Now that I'm saying, maybe you can see that there are some apps that after an update, you need to log in again to the app. Maybe and for example, if you are Instagram users or Facebook user or Twitter users, you will see that after an update of the app, in a week or 2 weeks, that the Facebook or Twitter app is being updated, then you will note that if you open again the Twitter app, you won't need to re-log into the app, because that's one important thing that they maintain, and they are very careful about that. They do not close the session that you are using, because there is another statistic for that if you log out the user after you update the app, then there are a percentage of users that won't log in back to the app, because they forgot the username and password, or something happened, and they say, oh, okay, the app now is logged out, so I won't log in again. So they stop using the app because of that. So if that's a requirement to keep the session activated, so that is something that also needs to be tested to make sure that after a specific update, the session continue open. What is PIP is picture in picture. It's when you use the mobile device. Now, if you open a YouTube video and you can just use it's a button. I think it's a button it's a bar in a video. It's in the downside of the video. Is a button that you press, and then you can minimize the video and continue watching the video while you are using another app. For example, while you are opening WhatsApp, for example, or you are opening a web browser, a mobile web browser. So that is picture in picture. There is a video or an application working in another while you are using another application in the same mobile device. Is it clear? Okay, great. So those are the things that you can try. And in just by understanding what you can do, and you should always think how you would use or what and how you are using your mobile device in order to test the app, right? You always need to put on the end client shoes and try absolutely using all the characteristic or the features or the hardware available in a mobile device. So for real world testing, what we call real world testing is using real devices for testing. It could be emulators just for visuals, and there is a tool, there is a cloud solution that is called Browser Stack, which is actually is a tool. There are other tools available in the market as well, like Browser Stack. Browser Stack is one of them, and then we have other tools like Source Lab. To just I will be showing you that how that works and what are the features that you can use. Also, you can in the real world testing, we perform exploratory testing, and we for sure report issues or report bugs. So is it any question until here? Is it clear, guys? Everything clear? Yes? So far, so good. Okay, amazing. Perfect. So just from here, please take into account this. We for real world testing, sometimes it's not possible to all the companies to execute test cases in real devices, as they do not have I mean, if they have a big QA engineer, a big QA team, it is not like cheap, or companies cannot afford buying real devices to absolutely all their QA engineers. Like, I know, maybe buying 10 different mobile devices for their QA engineers to try in also absolutely all the devices available in the market. And also every year those devices are renovated, right? Companies are creating new devices, and so like buying or using real devices every year is kind of really expensive thing to do. So for that, we can use some specific services like Browser Stack. What is Browser Stack? Well, Browser Stack is a cloud web and mobile testing platform that enables developers to test. It could be developers or QA engineers to test their website and mobile application across on-demand browsers, operating system, and real mobile devices without requiring users to install or maintain an internal lab of virtual machine devices or emulators. It is actually a service that we access, and we can access different mobile devices. We can try different web browsers, and we can try using or running web browser in different operating systems. So let's check what this is. So let me open here the Give me a second. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. Browser stack. Can you see the browser stack page? Yes, you can see it now. So if I go to the dashboard, I have a free testing user. So for me, for example, here for let me check if you can see my, yes, you can see that. And here for manual testing, we can use if we check iOS devices like iOS, the operative system, iPhone, I can open, for example, a browser, a web browser, a Chrome web browser in an iPhone 14. So if I click here, let me see if if that is working. So as you can see here, it's opening, connecting. So here, for example, I'm using a mobile web browser in an iPhone 14, and check what this is saying. You are testing on a real device. I will tell you what that is, but see what I can do. I can explore. I can use my device to, I can use my mouse to use in the same way as we can use a mobile device using using a real device. It's exactly the same. So I can, for example, search for cards and see the results here. So, and I can navigate on a specific web browser. And now the session will be end because I'm using a testing user. So in that way, I can use multiple, absolutely all the iPhone versions. What I can have here is what you can see here are the real devices which are actually available for me now. So you can see that these mobile devices are disabled for me because I'm using a testing, a free trial user. But if the company pays the licenses and subscription for this service, then all of the options will be enabled in order to try and to use absolutely all the devices. And here it's a very interesting feature that Browser Stack offer, which is the real devices. So now they have 53 devices available and ready for me to access. And what does it mean? It means that they have a big data centers in which they have actual real devices physically connected to a cable. Like they have a cable and they have physically connected to those computers that I'm remotely accessing the devices. So it's something interesting to try or to execute a specific test cases which are hardware related. Remember that if we are using real devices, we are capable to test a specific features or a specific test. We will be able to run, for example, performance test. And if we are using emulators, for example, we cannot execute performance test because the performance test depends on the hardware that is executing the app. So it is not the same, or an application wouldn't be running with the same speed in an iPhone than in an Android device. It could be working faster in one app, in one device than others. So in order to execute performance tests, the hardware and using real devices is essential, because in that way you will be able to check if the app is working in just under the conditions that were set for that specific device. So Browser Stack offers you the possibility of running, it could be an app, or it could be opening a mobile browser in real devices, and also also have the possibility to run emulators. So it's also something interesting to run. And in the same way that we have iOS operating system, here we have same thing for Android operative system devices like Samsung, Google, OnePlus, Motorola, etc., etc. So for example, if I open a Samsung here, let's say a Chrome browser in Galaxy S22. So let's check if that opens. Sometimes there we go. So here we are also accessing a real device, which is a real Samsung Galaxy that I'm opening. So in the same way, I can navigate different websites because I open a Chrome web browser here. So, and here you have the ability that there are some other tools that you can use in Browser Stack, which are like you can increase the zoom, as you can see. Zoom here, also rotate, for example. So in order to check how the or how this web page works when we are rotating. So you can see that nothing happens. I don't know if that's an issue, actual issue, or what happened with the device, but nothing happened when I rotate, which is weird. But yeah. Oh, okay. Is your time up this device? Okay. So, well, those are the things, and the same for not only mobile but also with operative system, computer operative system like Windows, for example, Windows 11, Windows 10, 8.1, even Windows XP, which is actually, I think the support is deprecated. There's no support anymore for XP, but there are some applications that are running. They're like old companies which are running application through the XP operative system. So here you have, for example, the Chrome browser, different version of the Chrome browser. So for example, I can open a Chrome, a specific Chrome version in a Windows 11 operative system. So there you can see that I'm opening a web browser here. I can navigate and check CHC and see how this specific web page is working in this specific web browser version. So, and here, what I was showing you is that you have tools here to check different resolutions, capture issues, screen reader, like this is for accessibility things, files and media. You can, there are different things that you can do, which are part of this product, and the same for Mac and different operative system. So this is it's a very interesting service. Almost all the services, all this kind of services like Browser Stack or Source Lab are the same. So if you know this, how it works, or what are the characteristics, other services are pretty similar. They offer exactly the same thing. Like for manual QA, they offer this kind of things like accessing operative system and devices, real devices or emulators, and also desktop operative system like our Mac or Windows. So also they offer or they have the feature of running automation in this specific websites but that's another thing that you will be exploring in different in a separate lessons. But there are a lot of things that you can do from here. The most important and the one that we are checking now is the one related to execute or to use the browser stack service for manual testing. This is what we can use for mobile testing and also for uh, desktop or let's say PC personal computer testing, web testing. Okay, is it clear, guys? And anything that you would like to clarify about browser stack? Clear? Good. Okay, so I think we can take a break. Are you okay if we take a 10 minutes break now? So it should be, I should be 6:35 for those who are in the East Coast, I think. So there would, let's go back here. 6:20, sorry, 6:46. Everyone back, please. Okay, so 10 minutes from now, and we continue. Okay, guys, see you in 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, everyone, so let's continue. Let me share my desktop. I will need to now share my desktop. There we go. So now we are in the second part of the lesson in which we are going to be creating some test cases. Okay, the way we are creating test cases today is by exploring an app and creating test cases from for some specific features that we have. In this case, Google Photos. Okay, here I'm using an emulator, which is Android Studio. I'm running a Google Photos in an emulator that emulates a Pixel 3. It's a device, it's a mobile device, right? It doesn't matter right now. We are just creating some test cases for Google Photos just to test the functionality. We're not going to be concentrated on hardware controls or any of those things. We are just concentrated on the features, on the functionality today. Okay, so so the product name, or we can divide, let's say, in two big areas. This application, which is Google Photos, we can divide it in photo functionality, also in video functionality. Those are like the biggest classification or divisions that we can have in this specific application, because we can use Google Photos to explore and or edit a picture, or we can also explore or reproduce or edit a video. Okay, so you should think on those kind of things where when creating your testing approach for a specific app. Everything that I'm talking is when you are exploring, you're creating your test cases from the exploration of the app. If you have the requirements, if you have the PRD, like the product requirement document, you will have absolutely all the information detailed, like all the divisions or the categories that are part of the application, all the features that are available there, the explanation about all the features, how they work, or what are the data that needs to be entered in order to have a specific results. And all of the information will be described there in the PRD. But if you do not have that, you should start thinking from biggest to small things. I mean, from big, from the whole thing, like the most peripheral parts of the app, to some specific things. In this case, the most like the big divisions, or the main divisions in Google Photos, is video and pictures. So that's the divisions that we have: photo functionality and video. Today we're going to be creating some test cases for photo functionality. And there is a question here: is this our next homework? No, it isn't. It's just an example of how you can create test cases. And please also let me highlight that there is no just one way of creating good test cases. I'm going to provide a way that I've been using during, I mean, according to my experience, and also something that I evaluate when I'm interviewing some manual QA candidates. So just the way I created, I mean, the way that I create and I was creating, now I'm not creating a lot of test cases, but the one that I created some time ago, and how I'm interviewing QA candidates nowadays. So so product name, and regarding the template, here the columns that it's part of this specific test cases template. This is one of the most general templates that you can find. There are, depends on the company, they could have one or two more columns. There are some companies that they do not have the precondition column into their as part of their test case templates, because it's because they think that a precondition is not needed in order to create a test case. But I will just describe what a precondition is and how you can use a precondition, just in case that you are asked about that in an interview. So it's important to know. There's it will depend on the company that you join, if they are using preconditions or not. But it's good to know. I think it's a good advice to have the precondition part ready for you. So let me just, yes, here it is. Let me just start with this. So the product name, what will be the product name for us? It will be Google Photos. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, Google Photos will be the product name for us. We are testing user an Android device, so Android is enough here. Like the test platform, it's usually web if you are testing in a web browser, iOS or Android if you are testing using a mobile device. Now we are testing under an Android environment, so I use Android here. If the app, I mean, if the objective of the test case is to run the specific test case in a specific mobile device, then you should enter absolutely all the information here, like Android, Pixel 3a, I guess X, for example. And if you, if the objective of the test case is to run or to execute that test case in a specific device. But as we are creating test cases, general test cases to be run in on Android, no matter the specific device, we can use just Android, and it's enough. And what will be the features that we are going to be reviewing today. So here, as you can see, it's the Google Photos. Here we have pictures, and for example, we have, if I click in one of these pictures, I have this specific options, and under I have an option here which says edit. If I click edit, I will have these options that appear here, which are the suggestions to transform or to edit my current photography or my current picture. These three options are preset options that I can click. If I click, maybe you can see, if I click here, the image change. If I click warm, then the image change. And if I click cool, also the image change. And as soon as I click these buttons, then something else is enabled. As you can see here, the save copy button here, down here, is enabled or is disabled. And once I click on enhance, so once I apply a filter to the picture, then the save copy button is enabled. So that is something that we also need to take into account when creating our test cases. So let's start creating the first one, that will be verify the edit photo feature and its available options. So here we have the first tip for when creating test cases. I recommend using words like verify or check. Like the first word of the test case title should be verify or check. That's important to understand, or to let the QA engineer know what is the objective. Remember that the test case title should be the objective of the test case. You should describe in just one sentence what is, or what you are going to be testing. Okay. And in order to see what a precondition is, I would like to show you something else. So what do you think a precondition is, guys? A precondition is something that needs to be executed before start executing the actual steps. Okay, a precondition. It's a precondition. It's something that it could be in a state that need to be set, or it could be let's say a series of steps that needs to be executed, or a condition that needs to be achieved before I start executing the actual steps. Okay, so for example, we have, this is an example. This is not a test case, just an example to understand what a precondition is. So imagine that we have an ATM withdrawal process. What would be the steps? The first step will be go to a bank, request for an ATM card. Number 3, wait for the ATM card to arrive. Number 4, activate the ATM card. Number 5, go to the ATM machine. And number 6, enter the ATM card. So that's the process for the ATM withdrawal. See what happened when we have a precondition. And the precondition is the ATM card is available and activated. The ATM card is available and activated. And then the steps will be just go to the ATM machine and enter the ATM card. Can you see that? Is it clear, guys, what a precondition, or how you can use a precondition? Great. Amazing. Perfect. Okay, so according to that, and according to what we are testing now, which is the Google Photos, what do you think are let's say at least 2 preconditions that we need to have in order to start executing, in order to start opening the Google Photos, in order to achieve this objective of verifying the features that we are actually need to verify that these options here are presented. Have a Google account. Yes, amazing. You are the best. You are the best, guys. So perfect. Actually, those are the very two preconditions needed to this test case. Have a Google account and have have photos in the gallery. So those are the very two or the most precondition that let's say the two preconditions that we need to execute this test. So amazing. So how you will describe that is you just can have number one, have a valid Google account and a user, and the user is already logged in, right? So we need to have both things, a valid account and the user logged in. And number two is to a photo, let's say at least one photo available in the gallery. Okay, so those are the precondition that we need to describe. So number one here will be open Google Photos. Remember that when you are testing a mobile application, you should always open the app first. Number two, select. It could be select or click or tap. You can use one of them. It is the same. So tap the photo from the photo gallery. And number three, it's click the edit button, or it could be button or option, right? So it's again, if I go here, I click the photo, the picture, and then I click or I tap the edit option. What will be the expected result then? So the expected result will be the edit photo options are displayed, right? And what are those options? Enhance, warm and cool buttons are available below. We can say below the photo that was selected. Okay, so and here you can highlight this part. Like it's I mean, it's not mandatory, but it's a good thing to do, to highlight the part of what the QA engineer needs to pay more attention, right? Like by highlighting the enhance warm cool button as are the objective that we want to check is around that. Like all of these three options are available and ready to execute. I mean, ready to use or to yes, to use. Okay, so that would be our first test case. So let's continue with the next one. That will be, okay, now that we are here edit, let's try applying a filter. Okay, so now we're using exactly the same, it's the same product name. Now the verify, the next test case will be verify the edit photo feature. feature, but now using filters, or we can say using preset filters. And then we should, we can explicitly say or mention what will be the exact filter that we are going to be testing. So this case, we are going to be testing the enhance filter. Okay. So what would be the precondition? Well, it's exactly the same from the previous one. Another thing, the preconditions or the test case, a second test case is not a continuation from a previous one. So every and each test case is individual and needs to be treated as that. Okay, so everything needs to be set from the beginning. No matter if you see that that is boring or adding extra information. It's not extra information actually, because every test case should be capable to be executed individually. That actually what we or companies used to do, and I used to do when distributing test cases to be executed with different QA engineers, is to just copy, let's say, copies from here to no, maybe let's say, okay, this 5 test cases will be executed by QA engineer number 1. That will be a person there. And then I will take from from row 11 to 17 to another person. So they won't have the context of the previous test cases. They will have just that test case, and it's important that they know everything that they need to execute in every and each test case. Okay, so that way everyone working on the test case execution will have absolutely all the information available for them to make sure that they are executing in a good way. Okay, so again, steps are open Google Photos. Oh, sorry. Another thing to highlight here, which is an important tips, is please use one step per line, not a continuation like number 1 and then number 2, blah blah blah, number 3, like that, because it's not clear, right? It's kind of messy to read. So please just separate in different lines, different steps. I'm using Mac now. It's for me is Command Enter to go to jump to the next line. I think is in Windows machine is Control or Alt Enter. You move to the next line, but please separate one step per line. That's important to because the test case won't be very easy to read if you do not follow that way. Okay. So number 2 will be select. Again, select. I can just copy number 2 or 3 from the previous test case, because there will be exactly the same. Number 4, oh, sorry. Number 4 will be click the enhance filter option. And number 5, what will be number 5? In order to apply the filter, then we need to click the save copy. It's click the save copy button. Okay, so here we click the enhance filter, and then we click in save. And then after we see save, what we can see this message that after some seconds disappear. So that's something that we need to also highlight in the expected result. So what will be the expected results here? So after clicking the enhance button or option, the save copy button is enabled, right? That's something important to highlight, because before that it should be disabled. Okay. Another expected result is that after clicking the enhance button, the filter, yes, should be applied to the picture, right? We expect to see that after clicking here, the like the image is modified. So it's applied to the filter, to the picture. And finally is after clicking the save copy button, what happened? Saved is right. Is saved. Message should be displayed. Okay. And after two, let's say after a couple of seconds, that message should disappear. Yes, should disappear, right? So that's the those are the three things that happen after executing this step. Is it clear, guys? Any question about the test cases or the way I'm creating the test case? No? No questions? So far, so good. Okay. Okay. Good. Perfect. So what we are going to be doing now that we have this case already created, and then now that we know that these three options are or perform in the same way, like these three things or these three options are filters that are applied, and the behavior after clicking the filter, besides the image is being transformed in another thing, but the behavior is the same. The filter is applied, the save copy button is enabled, and after clicking save copy button, for absolutely the three options happen exactly the same. So what we can do now is to copy this, just copy this one and say, okay, I'm going just to change enhance for warm, which is which is the second option, like this one, right? I'm going to use just warm. Preconditions are the same. What I'm going to be changing here is like I will just change the that I'm clicking warm filter option. Absolutely all the other options like steps are the same. And what will happen with the expected result? Well, it will be the same, just we should change the warm option here after click the warm button, and after click after clicking here, it's clicking. After clicking the save copy button, a save message should appear, and it's exactly the same for the spectre result. So see this way of creating test cases. You just create one test case in some minutes, and then for the second option, you just copy the previous one and change just one thing. And it's one way of being more performant when creating test cases. So, and let's do the same for the third option. And then we will have all the options covered. Just in some minutes, we created 3 different test cases. You don't need to recreate exactly the same thing to absolutely all the test cases. You just create you just create a test case in a way that you can just change one thing, and it serve or it is useful for other test case. Okay, so here is cool, and here I change here to cool, and here to cool. Blah, blah. And there we have, we created 4 test cases just to validate the edit part. And then there are a lot of other things that we can create. I mean, under the edit, we just covered the suggestion part, but there is a crop, adjust, filters. Here we have a bunch of other filters to try that it will be exactly the same as this. And in this, for example, in this filter option, you will have different filters that also, I mean, the test cases you should create just for one, and then the next will be exactly the same, exactly the same. So you can create just one test case for filters and then copy and paste and change just a specific things, just a few things, and you will be creating, it will be 2, 3, I don't know, maybe more than 10 test cases in a couple of minutes. Okay, so there are a lot of things here to continue testing, but we already covered this suggestions, which is the option above here, and there's 3 options in some minutes. Please take into account the way I created the test case using words like verify here, making sure that you are properly using the precondition. And also remember that the precondition, and this is something that I didn't mention, but the precondition is not mandatory. Not all the test cases should have a precondition in order to be a valid test case. Okay, so let me now show you how we can create a test case. So here I have a bug report already created that I created. There are a couple of things which I would like to highlight when creating good bug reports. First of all is the let me just click on, there we go. Where is it? Let me check. Yes, here. Okay. First thing to highlight is the bug report title. The bug report title should describe what is the issue, just to clearly identify what the problem is, right? Here in this case, I'm supposing, or I assuming that we are unable to save a photo after applying an enhanced filter. This is not actually a real bug, but I'm pretending that the save button is not enabled after applying a filter here. So here you can see that the title is very explicit and it mentioned what is the problem, that unable to save a photo after applying the enhanced filter. That's the title, and it's descriptive, and it's something that the developer will see and will check and will read and say, okay, here it is. Now I see what is the problem. Let's see how we should reproduce the issue. And here, please also take into account that if a developer or a manager cannot reproduce the issue, they won't be able to fix it, or at least will be very much more difficult to do it. Okay, so again, if they cannot reproduce the issue, they won't be able to fix it, or at least it will be much more difficult to do it. So it's very important that you describe all the steps that you executed in order to reproduce the problem or reproduce the issue. In this case, we have three things that that are highlighted here: steps that you executed in order to find that issue, the actual result, I mean the result that you are seeing, or what you assume is the problem, and the expected results, right? So what you are expecting to see and what you are seeing actually. Okay, the order, you can have first the expected result and then the actual result is the same. I use this way just to describe. After doing this, you will be seeing this, but it's my way. You can use the other way, like having the expected result just after the steps. It's okay if you have expected result first and then the actual result, or if you have actual result and then expected result. Any way or the other is okay. So as you can see here, steps are: open Google Photos, click the photo from the gallery, click on the edit button, click the enhance filter, and click save copy button. The actual result, assuming that this is the problem, is that after clicking the enhance button, the save copy button remains disabled. That's I'm highlighting that part just to let the developer know what the problem is. Okay, the button remains disabled. The expected result should be that after clicking the enhance button, the save copy button is enabled. So this is the expected result, and this is what I'm actually seeing, and that's my problem. So here you see the problem, and the next thing which is important to highlight is the environment that you are using, because sometimes and mostly when it's a web testing, most of the times the environment, like the web browser version, it could be the problem. So there are some specific versions of the web browser that cannot be, for any reason, cannot be working very well with the website that you are trying to test. Okay, so environment is it should be the web browser that you are using in case that you are testing in a website, in a web client, or if you are using a mobile client, then it's important to highlight first the operative system that you're using, and then the operative system version. So here in this case is Android 11, and also the device that you are using to test this specific test case, right? In this case, I use Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus on Android 11. So yeah, that's important for mobile devices. Remember, for web testing, for web client testing, it's important to have the web browser version, like Google Chrome version, I know, 122 point blah blah blah. That is the version of the web browser, and that you actually can find if you go to inspect, and then no, sorry, it's not from there. If you click this 3 dots, and then from help and you click on about Google Chrome, then you will be able to find here the version of Google Chrome. Okay, this is the information that you should add as part of the environment when testing using a web client. Okay, guys. So that's everything that I have for mobile testing. So let me go back to the presentation so we can just execute again. So last thing to remember is that you can find this a specific lesson about introduction to Google Chrome DevTools and how QA engineers can use it for testing in your learning space. So now you will have that available for you if you want to dig a little bit more using DevTools. And that's all for today, guys. Anything that you would like to ask? Any final question? I hope this was a useful lesson for you to understand how to create good test cases. But yeah, I hope this was a useful one. Ah, very good. Thank you. So thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Any question, guys? Any final question that you would like to ask me? No? Okay. So, okay. It's been a pleasure, guy, again. I will see you in a couple, on Friday, I think. Yes, we will have a lesson. I will be with you on lesson 9. So see you on Friday. Thank you very much and have a great night. You too. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you. See you. Bye.